welcome to Prayers Radio. I'm your host, Rich Jarvis. This is my co-host,
Hey
John
everybody.
Waterhouse. This show
Yay.
is only about prayer, earnest homes, which we call spiritual mind treatment in this philosophy. You got it, John.
We are going to have a fantastic conversation today. We are with Reverend Mark Anthony Lord, who currently lives in Chicago. I've known Mark Anthony for a ton of years. I was his ministerial mentor several decades ago. And since then, he has created great work in the world, touching untold numbers of people, not only at Bodhi Spiritual Center in Chicago, but through many, many other avenues and connections. And he's one of my favorite people in the world, and I'm so excited that he is here with us today. Welcome, Reverend Mark Anthony.
Oh, thank you, Reverend John Waterhouse. It brings me joy to be with you. Truly, truly.
And joy all around. So, would you do us an honor and open us in prayer?
Happy to, yes. Please join me if it's comfortable and closing your eyes as we take that breath. And I speak the word God, and that word lifts me out of the world of form, out of the world of duality. It places me in the center of the truth of oneness, of life, of infinite, unlimited joy, of power, and true wisdom and freedom. This is not just what's true about God. This is what's true about me because I am that. I am the love of God, the joy of God, the power of God, the life of God. As it's true for me, it is true for every one of us. It is true for you who is listening right now. And from my place of oneness, I speak a blessing upon this gathering. I know that which is to be said will be said. That which is to be heard will be heard, embraced, transformed. I welcome the miracles and the gifts of awakening that are here for each one of us. Truly, truly, this is a divine appointment, and this gathering is blessed. I give great thanks for this, and so it is.
Oh, it
So
is.
it is.
Beautiful.
Well, we are truly blessed to have you. But you go by Mark Anthony, correct?
I do.
Okay, because John told me don't call him Mark, don't call him Anthony, call him Mark Anthony. So I said, okay.
I would actually answer to all three, but I have a preference.
So your website is markanthonylord.me. That's markanthonylord.me. And he also has a ebook that you can get called Three Lies You've Been Told About God, which is sound pretty interesting. What do
Mhm.
you want to tell us anything else about yourself? I mean, I know you're a great speaker because John said you were, and I know you are because I've seen a few of your things. So
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I would like to start with my website. It doesn't have an E in it. It's markanthonylord.me. You said NEY. So we'll just take that E out and then you'll be able to find me. So yeah, I have been a lifelong learner. I started studying New Thought at age 24 with Unity. First with Unity, and became a licensed Unity teacher and applied for ministerial school. Didn't get in because I was too young. Moved to LA, found Science of Mind and all of the magnificence out there, and then jumped on that bandwagon for 10 years of study and joy. And so this really has been my life since 24 years old, and I've never wanted to be in a different lane. It's such a blessing of all the things in life that come and go, and the things that we're challenged by. I've always knew this is where I was meant to be, what I wanted to talk about, and it remains true. It remains true to this day. It's just like it excites me like it's day one.
fabulous, fabulous.
That's beautiful. I'd like to ask you a question to get this conversation on prayer going.
Yeah.
An important part of my life is my spiritual practice that I do every morning. I want to hear about yours. What do you do when you get up in the morning?
What I do when I get up in the morning, I open my eyes and I say, "Hello, God. I give you my day." That's just the first thing that comes out of my mouth
That's
before
lovely.
before my feet hit the ground and before the ego starts chattering. That's really the first thing I do. I drink my water with my lemon and my turmeric and my honey. And then I move into my spiritual practice, which is some reading, some meditation time. I really, really Sometimes my meditation is only 5 minutes. Sometimes I have the luxury of it being, 30 to sometimes longer. But what I'm grateful for is the time is no longer what's relevant for me. It's just the sitting in the center of what I call the Christ heart and just letting it open, letting it consume me, remembering this is the truth of who and what I am. And from there, I move into my kind of prayer for the day, surrendering it, again, offering it up. Typically, that's followed by a prayer partnership call, probably about 4 out of 5 mornings a week. I have prayer partnering practice that I've been doing since, practitioner training. It's just, and some of my prayer partners are back to 1998, 1999.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of how my day kicks off, followed by the dog walk and the coffee and all that yummy stuff.
That's
That's a great
great.
way to start your day, Mark Anthony. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I have the luxury of being able to do that.
So, Mark Anthony, how does prayer show up in your life? I mean, do you just, yeah, I mean, you got a wonderful dog, by the way. We should.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do. It's one of them. I've got another one, but yeah, he's great. How does it show up in my life? I remember hearing, from the Bible, pray ceaselessly. And my naive young mind was like, "Oh my God." Like how do you do that? What does that mean? And today it really, I feel like that is my life. It doesn't mean my mind doesn't wander, but there really isn't a place that I don't go into where I ask God to go before me, where I know that everyone in the room is a reflection and a call for love and the one with God. And when I take my walks in the city that I love, when I pass people by, like I just like shoot blessings of love because I'm like, do I want to do that with my mind or do I want my mind to be looping into the insanity of the world? So I mean, prayer shows up all day long in the way that my mind is recentered on the truth of God, and the truth of my life with God, and the truth of everyone. And I really, again, it's not about perfection for me at all. Some days I fall off the wagon 1,000 times. Other days I fall off the wagon three. I don't care because as many times as I fall off the wagon, somehow I've got the muscle at some point to remember to get back on. And how do I get back? And I say, oh, that's right. Okay, God is here. The truth is love. This is what I am. You can get to the short order cook kind of a thing where a few statements can bring me back to center. And it really is a way of life for me because I don't know what else I would do. Like the other option of where my mind has gone, I've had plenty of that, and it just hasn't produced anything that is good. So the joy of just remembering and remembering and remembering, that's how it shows up for me. And when people call for prayer, when it's such a blessing when someone asks us to speak the word for them because we are the first recipient of that word. Like what a
Yes.
blessing. It's crazy. It's crazy.
All the more reason to do what we do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
seriously.
So,
Seriously.
so Mark Anthony, I would describe you as a quintessential teacher of truth. You've made your career out of helping people find their way on this path of awakening. So, on the matter of spiritual mind treatment and affirmative prayer, when you teach that, do you have any nuanced things that you do that maybe you'd never find in curriculum anywhere, but that helps people kind of grasp the great power of this work?
Oh, what a good question. Um, what do I do? Like, I don't know if I have a special secret ingredient in it, but I certainly am passionate about it is not I that does the work. I think that the formula, the scientific formula, the framework that is encoded in the affirmative prayer structure is gives us the gold. It gives us the exact way that the word becomes fulfilled. I think the thing that I've learned in teaching it that takes people sometimes so long to get to, which is fine, but it has nothing to do with the other person. It has nothing to do with if they get it. Because people are like, well, what if they don't agree with it? Well, what if they don't accept it? I'm like, I don't care. It's in my mind. I see them as whole. I commit to speaking the truth about them, to knowing the truth about them, and keeping my attention there. So if my word depends on them getting it, then my word just collapsed as far as I'm concerned. But that's a concept that I think takes people time to understand because the out there is so seductive. We speak the truth about someone that they're cancer free and they walk away and they appear to have cancer. You know what I mean? That human eyes are so seductive. The human world will keep pulling us down, but that's not what prayer asks us to do. Prayer asks me to see them as whole and see them as free. And that's the work and that's the joy of doing it. So I think it's who we are to be after the word is spoken, after the prayer ends. It's to, Ernest Holmes, I believe, said something like, pray throughout the night if you have to, right?
Oh, yeah, he did many times.
And that had nothing to do with them. That has to do with me until my mind is convinced. So even though we teach it and even though we know that, I think the application and the understanding and the practice of that can still take time for people. Does that make sense?
And there's
Yeah,
nothing
it's
wrong with that. That's
No, no, no.
fantastic because what you're doing in that moment is recognizing that you haven't got it yet, that you're
Yeah,
moving closer, but you're not where you want to be.
yeah,
So you keep going. And if you
yes,
could just say, a quick 2-minute treatment and think you were done, even though you really didn't believe it, that would be an entirely unsuccessful endeavor.
yes, totally. So that took me a while to get that. Oh, it isn't just about the word for 2 minutes. It's about what the word does to me in those 2 minutes, and then my commitment to that being the truth. That
I had
that's
a
a
student once that, what I would do in my practitioner two classes is I would always have times where people came in for treatment with each one of the students, and they would sit together, face to face, and the rest of the class and I would sit around them in a circle and observe what would happen. And there was once where this one practitioner student received this person, listened to them, did the full experience with the treatment at the end. And when the person left, I looked at her and said, "Do you really believe what you said?" And I was so proud of her. She said, "No." I said, "Thank you. So what can you do now?" She says, "I can do it again." I said, "Well, you can continue it and do it till you're convinced that it's so." And I think that helped that entire class get it.
I
yes,
I think that one of the takeaways that we have on this is that our mind is the only mind that changes with prayer. And then everything ripples out into the universal all that makes that
yes.
change happen. But we forget that. A lot of times people can't absorb that in their mind is that when you say the prayer, you have to release that prayer. You can't hold on to it because you're releasing it into law.
Yeah, and the way I think about it, and the way it shows up inside of me is if I'm praying for um, John, I begin with knowing I am a divine idea in the mind of God. John
Exactly.
is a divine idea in the mind of God. This is where we're one. And this is where the word I speak and say yes to must and does get shared. You know what I mean? So it's again like the world of form is just like to me the springboard that shoots me up. It's like, what's the condition? Great. That's all I need. I don't need the story, just enough to lift me into the truth.
Yeah, I
So,
always think of form as the seductive presence of facts
Yeah,
and often the absence of truth.
there you go. There you go.
what tangible results have you seen from that? I mean, when you're doing the prayer, what tangible results have you seen in terms of things just changing? Because we know there's no time and spirit. So instantaneously, the prayer will change the reality that we're currently in. But for yourself, what tangible results have you seen?
Well, I get what level are you speaking at. Instantaneously, it changes in thought. Instantaneously, the appearance happens in my mind, in the imagination.
And
Imagination is
that's a creation.
That's a
Mhm.
creation, 100%, and so that's where it is instantaneous. So if you're saying, where do I see it? I see it in my mind. And I'm blessed with a fantastic imagination that can color it in and put meat on the bones and get excited about it. So that's where the yes is. In terms of the world of form, I, s- it sounds crazy, but I don't care. I
Mm.
I don't care because for me, if I speak the truth of health and wholeness for someone and a week later they die of cancer, health and wholeness is revealed because they're not their body. The body is not this world is the world of change, come and go, come and go, come and go. Waves rise, waves crash. Like that's not where I'm looking for proof. Sometimes it shows up and that's fun, but if we focus too much there, then it's becoming magic tricks.
Mm.
That's where people get stuck. Like, oh, it didn't work. Well, because you're looking for magic. You can't, it's not about pulling a rabbit out of the hat. Sometimes you will, sometimes it won't.
Is that what do you say to somebody who comes back and says it didn't work? Or
Sorry.
maybe you've never had that happen.
Um, I don't know. I guess I would
I
say,
guess no one would dare ask you that or to say that to you.
I mean, I don't, yeah, I can't think of it. I mean, I,
Good, don't.
I guess I would assure them, like, well, I am knowing the truth for you. I spoke that word and I'm living in that word for you. I promise you that.
Mm.
I can appreciate if they're in the condition that can be tough, no doubt about it. But that's not where it lives for me. So,
That's brilliant.
and that's why I think the challenge with prayer is again, it's like people speak the word, then they look at the world of form. And the world of form is the past. The world of form is just it takes time for that which is done immediately in the mind to move into form. And sometimes the movement into form just has a different expression of it. But what is in my mind is done. I don't know if I'm explaining it well. I don't want to get
That's
trippy.
great.
Yeah.
You're doing fine.
Yeah. The other thing though, now that I'm rolling, that I would wish for more people to be honest to say, but for those people who are praying, is turn up the passion,
Yeah.
get the fire. I experience so many people who are just in their heads and they're speaking beautiful, eloquent words, but it's really the fuel. It's like what makes the car move is the gas.
Mm.
What makes it come alive. So if to me, sometimes faking the feeling gets the image to come alive more. And sometimes, once the feeling gets rolling, you do start to believe it and feel it. That's what I look for. When I speak the prayer, I'm flailing and I'm kicking and I'm dancing because I feel it and I want to have an all sensory experience of it. I know everyone has their right connection to the divine. I just would encourage people like see if you can stretch past your comfort zone a little bit because there's kind of some good energy out there on the outside of it. It's easy
I mean,
for
it really shows that the emotion is part of the calculation. It's part of the formula. If you try to do this just by thinking, you're going to fall short. But when you really feel it while you're knowing it, it increases its impact incredibly.
yeah. Yeah, for me it does and it helps me know it more fully, like it when the energy's activated and I'm feeling it, it's just like, "Oh, yes." That's what I'm looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how have your prayers? We're talking about evolving prayers and stuff. We know where you have an idea where you came from. What was your background on it, and how have your prayers changed over time?
Well, very dramatically. I was raised Catholic where we did the rote prayers, and I was a very traumatized child. It was a very, very rough childhood. So my prayers were literally, God save me, God, please don't send me to hell. I mean, I'm talking like a 7-year-old mind that has that kind of traumatic imprint, and so it was praying to an external God. It was praying, begging and beseeching, and it was coming from like a lot of fear, a lot
Mm,
of fear. I can speak about that now, but back then, imagine like the reality of that was every single night. So I had these rituals. I think the rituals were sort of like, the Our Father, then the Hail Mary, then like I had that all lined up. And it's interesting. It's just, I was so scared. And yet all I could do was to reach out, and the prayers weren't being answered, weren't being answered, weren't being answered. And yet now I can look back and go, oh, but there was something carrying me the whole time.
mm,
So that was my upbringing. And so I threw prayer out. And it really wasn't until I was studied unity, and I love unity. I'm steeped in both of them. I see the gifts and the challenges. Unity has the heart and the passion and the Bible and that sort of Jesus stuff that feels amazing. And Science of Mind has the certainty and the law and the conviction. And, but combined, it's a beautiful yin and yang. So unity, I got my heart opened and a lot of healing. But it really was when I got to Science of Mind, where I was like, oh, this 5-step prayer, got it. This, and that's when it really started to kick in, and then practice it, practice it, practice it, practice it. I'm so grateful for, because I'm teaching a prayer class now. Do you guys remember how many treatments did we write in all those classes? I mean, we must have turned in hundreds. And I'm so grateful. I never thought anything about it. Back then when you would write out, your prayers, every class, you turn in that prayer, and every time you got a little bit better.
I had students in North Carolina that, from all that writing in classes, once they became a practitioner, they would do a session with someone and speak the word. But then after that, they would write them treatments and send them to them, email them to them.
That's
And it had an incredible impact.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I'm grateful for the training. Was, it was intense. But I wouldn't trade it. For me, it was perfect.
Of course, of course. So we've talked about the steps of spiritual mind treatment. We've got identifying the presence. No, I'm sorry. We start with recognizing the presence, and then identifying ourselves as that presence. Then we realize what is true already in our lives as we are knowing the truth. Then we do gratitude, and then we release it.
Yeah.
I love to talk about the gratitude step. How do you use that step in your treatment work?
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't love to talk about that one, but I'm glad you do. um, I'm going to be honest. Like I love to talk about the release step, but the
mm.
gratitude one is a bit. And I'll look at this. Thank you for that comment, but that's more of a flyby for me. The gratitude,
Really?
it is, because I know it's true. I know that gratitude is sort of like the magnet that kind of pulls it. I can see the goodness of it. But I'm grateful for the fulfillment of this prayer. Like I kind of keep that one pretty simple for me. I do think there's some depth to it, but I don't stretch that one out too much. So I'm
Okay.
happy.
Well, isn't it interesting that I would ask you about that one?
I know. I'm like happy to hear your thoughts about that. Um,
Well, to me, it's so powerful because you're never grateful for something you don't have. So if
uh,
there's any question after the third step, when you're grateful for it, you're telling your subjective mind, I must have it if I'm grateful for it.
yeah.
And one other thing I've seen a lot of teachers in this movement do is have their students be thankful for anything and everything. And
Ah,
that's all well and good and very nice. But no, the point of it is to be grateful for what you just stated in the third step, for
yeah.
what you realize is so. That's the work. And
And
so
that I do. Mine is consistently, I'm grateful for the fulfillment of this prayer.
I saw you, I heard you say that, and
Yeah.
really that's the essence of it. Everything else is just, extra stuff.
Yeah. And I do teach that too, John. I agree with you, because like you don't want it to start pulling you out. We're not talking about the
Right.
birds and the trees and and the this and the
Yeah,
The
whatever.
flowers.
And isn't
yeah.
it lovely to be grateful? But that's not the purpose.
Yes. Yes. That I agree with for sure. For
Well,
sure.
the prayer is supposed to be I mean, the prayer, you're focusing on what you want to have happen. So when you're speaking your word into the law, it shouldn't be, at least in my opinion, I agree with you on that, Mark Anthony, that it shouldn't be all flowery. I don't do flowery. I'm a programmer by trade. I don't
Uh,
do flowery. I go A to B to
Oh,
C. Thank you, God. That's it.
you treat in
Please.
code?
yeah, he
What?
does. And see, I love that because the the science of mind formula really does include all.
Yeah.
And everyone does
Right.
have perfect wiring for their connection to God.
So, Mark Anthony, let me ask you a question on you talked about the 5 step, but we have a 7 step, which is denial and then affirm what we want in its place. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't teach the 7 steps technically, but I do put the denial in the third step. I teach that should any resistance or any thoughts come up in you that say this is impossible, I don't know if this is true, bring it to the prayer. Just say, I deny any thought that says this is impossible. I deny any idea. I mean, that's sort of how I do it. And I do like, by the way, I call it sort of the affirmation sandwich,
Mm,
affirm, I affirm. But to me, that just happens in the third step. So it's kind of a technicality, right?
So I have a question for you. Um, in working with your students, do you think that they are more challenged by any one of the steps more than the others?
mm,
Um, I think they each have their unique opportunities, growth areas. The one I really like to go home on is, well, third step, I think they're challenged in really, really turning on the imagination. You
Okay.
know, the seeing the movie in your mind. That's what I say to them. As you tell,
Oh,
you
yeah.
should be seeing it as you're in talking about it, like you're seeing it happen.
Right.
That's what happens for me. And
That's harder for people who are auditory
yeah,
or kinesthetic, but if they're visual, boom, they can do
exactly.
that.
Exactly. So I can speak about that and I'm aware that others, but I still want to, drill that home. But the release step, if I may quickly, I use the analogy of putting a cake in the oven. And I say to them, you make the cake, you put it in the oven, and then what do for 45, 50 minutes while it's cooking? Anything you want. You just don't open the oven door. Because if you keep opening the oven door, I hope this cake is baking, I hope this cake is baking, you're going to interfere. And that's kind of what we do, with prayer. Like, I hope this prayer is working. I hope this prayer is working. So it's like that opening the oven door is what they want to pay attention to. When you
You
put that,
remember earlier I asked you the question about nuances in your teaching style? That
yeah.
was what I was looking for.
Oh,
You
okay.
just
Well,
nailed it. That's a great tool. Good for
it
you.
really is. It really is. And it gives people that, like, oh, I'm opening the oven door,
Yeah.
because the
Don't
cake,
ask the question. Yep.
yeah,
Too
the
soon.
cake doesn't cook if you keep opening the oven door. You're getting in the way. And I say to them, we have more faith in the power in the oven than we do in God in fulfilling this prayer. That's not blaming us, it's just looking at it. Can we transfer our faith in the oven to our faith in God in the fulfillment of this word? That's our growth for all of us, right?
Yeah. Well said. Thank
absolutely.
you. Rich?
Well, what's your favorite Holmes book?
My favorite Ernest Holmes book is This Thing Called You.
Because it's a great book.
It is a great book.
It's a great book because it's the first book I would put in anybody's hands.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
if I want someone to like move towards the teaching, it's small, it's concise, it's got so many bite-sized pieces of wisdom. So I'm sure you get that answer a lot.
We do. We get it a lot. What's
Yeah.
your What's your favorite quote?
Uh, I don't have a favorite quote so much because but just because I'm not a quote memorizer, I don't do that well. But what I will tell you when I look to Ernest Holmes and when I look to the science of mind, what it says to me is to practice until it is proven in your own mind. It inspires me to remember that this world is an effect. And the truth is always told in my mind, and to practice that, and to be um uh dedicated and convicted to that, the power of the word. To me, that's the gift that I get out of it. I don't know that I have an exact quote that would point
You
to
don't
that.
need it. That's good.
Yeah.
So you live in Chicago, a jungle of elevators. What would your elevator speech be if someone said, "What's the science of mind?"
What's a science of mind? Gosh. I would say the science of mind is a really brilliant distillment and teaching on how the truth about God, your relationship with God, and the power that is within you to move mountains.
Brilliant. Very nice. That couldn't offend anybody.
Well, I did mention God, so that does get a little
Oh, that's
tricky.
true. You might offend a few people that don't have your same concept of God.
But I'm kind of the fan of like offend them early, like speak the truth
Get it
before
out of
they
the way.
get them out of
That's
the way.
great.
Like let it ring for those who it's meant to ring for.
I truly believe that if we could show atheists what we believe God is, that a lot of them would say, "Oh yeah, I can go with that."
Oh,
They
totally.
just don't like the guy in the clouds.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't like the idea of a God that has a son that saves us. They just don't resonate with that concept. Frankly, I don't resonate with that concept.
Yeah.
So, and I grew up in it. I grew up Southern Baptist,
Mm,
but it was just the way you stated that, the idea of how we see the divine. That's what sold me on Science of Mind immediately.
yeah.
Is that it isn't that God that we were raised with. This is better.
Yeah, yeah. And I will be honest, you can cut this if you want, but having been in Unity and Science of Mind and seeing the shortcomings and the shadows, I still see the shadow in the Science of Mind of the rejection of Jesus, the rejection of the healing of the word God. I still hear people going, we don't use the word God. I'm like, well, if you don't use it, that doesn't mean you healed it. Or maybe they have in some way, but I'm grateful that I do not reject Jesus. I do not have a struggle with the word God, and I have the principles of science of mind. And
Well,
In
go ahead.
my
we
early days, I would have when if I was going to quote from the Christian Bible, and I had that book in my hand, I would look at everybody and say, "Calm down, it's going to be all right. I'm going to read one verse."
Take a breath. I
Yeah,
got
exactly.
Daddy's got you. Daddy's got you.
well, you remember that the later part of Science of Mind, he does go over and talks about specific scriptures inside of the Bible that Jesus said.
Oh, he does that all through the Science of Mind.
No, I'm
He
talking
talks about
specifically
Jesus
page
incessantly.
500 and beyond is and we've talked about this before, is that it has those different quotes inside of it.
Yes.
But it's a matter of how they actually look at the Christ consciousness, not how they actually, how they engulf it inside themselves to understand what that is.
Well, and
I
this
would,
is key for all of us, honestly. If there's a resistance in the students coming to me to something, I've got to at some point go home and go, how is that resistance in me?
mm,
Because I'm attracting this. And do I want to keep building bridges over this resistance and bypass it, or do I want to go through it?
well,
So,
that what you give
Brilliant.
energy, you become. I mean, anything you're going to give energy to, you're carrying that backpack with you.
yes.
Yeah, but what you're doing is it may come as looking like something that someone's against something, but truly they're looking for a healing.
Absolutely.
Mm,
And what I want for all of us is that no word gets in the way. I think all of
Yeah.
us could call it frog, call it God, call it anything. I don't care. I mean, I'm not going to let a word rob me of my peace of mind or my relationship with the divine,
mm.
you know?
Well
So
done.
that's what's important. It's like, let's not let words get in the
Very
way.
So,
nice.
so what takeaway would you want our audience to take away from this show?
I would want them to take away the highest truth, which is that screaming world out there is not greater than the power of God within you. So now choose whom you serve. That's it.
Mm,
You are
There it
making
is.
one choice every day, fear or the truth of God within you. And fear has 1,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 faces. Fear is going to get more dramatic, and then it's going to calm down, and we're going to see peace in the world for a day, and then it's going to bubble up something else. Like, look at it. It's nonstop. It's like a hamster wheel. And the way it does change is when you stop giving it your power and you start giving God your power. It really works. It really, if I may, Jesus, I do have a quote. Jesus said, "This and greater things shall you do." I'm really interested in that.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in because he did a crap load of good things. What greater things than that can we do? Get in here, man. Stop letting that steal you of your power.
Brilliant. Well said.
Well, let's go ahead and know that right now that you're going to do a prayer.
Oh, I'm going to do a prayer?
Yeah, would you close
We're going
us
to
with your
close
prayer
out,
as well?
and then we'll plug everything else at the end.
Sure, sure. Yeah, let's once again turn within with great gratitude, emphasizing that wonderful energy, which I will be doing moving forward. Thank you to my brother, John. Once again, I do speak the word God because for me, that word is filled with all that God is. It encapsulates the power, the presence, the peace, the infinite, unlimited healing truth. And through my word, that power flows because I am one with that. We are one with that. We go back to that over and over, remembering, restating, declaring, and then letting it come alive within. And it is from this oneness that I speak a word of great gratitude for our time together. Grateful for the sharing, the laughter, the insight, the depth, and great blessings to those who will listen and receive what is perfectly appointed for them. What I absolutely know and what I invite us to know together is there is God and there really is nothing else. There is the truth and the life of God that knows no death. There is the good that has no opposite. There is the eternal nature in which we live and move and have our being. And there all is well. And all is well is not just words. All is well is not a bypass or a band-aid. All is well with my soul is that which activates the ancient remembering, and it comes alive right now and it says, use me, use me, use me. What do you want? What shall be created? And in the name of love, we come together and we co-create a world that is heaven, a world that is peaceful. It begins within us. We declare it, we see it, we claim it, we do not budge. We do not budge. So this is what I say yes to. I'm grateful. Blessings to this wonderful, wonderful gift of this podcast and its commitment to bring the power of prayer and spiritual mind treatment to the world in a way where more and more people are using it. I use my mind right now to see millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people all around the world knowing how to pray in this magnificent way and feeling the fulfillment that it brings. I'm grateful for all of this. I truly am. And in gratitude, I release this word into the action of the law. It is fulfilled now, right now. And so it is.
And so it is.
So it is.
Well, we thank Mark Anthony Lord for being on the show. And again, his website, and correct me, MarkAnthonylord.me. So check out his site. And John, where can they find you?
Well, I just want to say about Mark, what an excellent teacher and speaker he is. And if you go to that website and see some of his recordings, you're going to be dazzled because he's amazing.
Oh yeah.
I've always seen and known that. So you can find me not only here on Prayers Radio Conversations, you can also find me on a podcast called Higher Reality on the Edge of Understanding. And I do that with a couple of colleagues that live down in Mexico. We have a blast with it. It's talking about the convergence of science and spirituality. And so there's some interesting things you can see on there as well. My latest book just came out. It's called Spirits Awakening, and that's apostrophe S on spirits. And that's really about my journey of awakening over the past, I don't know, 40 years. I think that's about where it covers, and it's got some good ideas. At least I think they're good ideas about how to awaken to your spiritual magnificence.
Wonderful. Well, I'm Prayers Radio, and like, subscribe, or even support us at prayersradio.com. And, my book will come out in June, which is the default prayer, which I think will be fun. So you can get all this information on the show notes. And so now what we're going to do is everybody say bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Peace and love.